Good afternoon. I have opened up the waiting room. I have started the call. So anyone that is joining, I am gonna start right at 12:30. I just opened the room so anybody that does come on the call will be ready for when we start right at 12:30. My name is Ashley Gendreau, and today we will be going over Fellow or Hi Fellow. So I'm just gonna give everybody another quick minute and a half to get on, get their coffee, their water, their tea, anything else that they need. And right at 12:30, we will get started. If you do have questions, you can go ahead and put them in the chat. And in between the different categories or topics that I go over, I will check the chat and see if there are any questions. If you do have any questions that do not get answered during today's call and you are a Lair agent, you can go ahead and email Happy Agent, which is happyagent@lairrealty.com. So this is 12:30 to 1:30. So if your question does not get answered within that time frame, again, just email Happy Agent. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And we will get started right now. So it is 12:30. So welcome everyone. For those that are just joining, my name is Ashley Gendreau. I am a tech bundle trainer here at Lair, and today we are going to go over Fello. So what's the easiest way to log into Fello? You can bookmark this URL. So I do Hi Fello, and then it's going to bring you to this page. Click on this one right here, and it should bring you to this page right here. If you have not already bookmarked this page, I would bookmark it. And when you log in, there's two different ways you can log in. So you can always enter your email and your password, or you can link your Google email to log in. So that's what I did. So I just click login. And then it will log me in because I already have my Gmail connected. So it will allow me to just log in. Now, when you log into your Fello, yours is going to look a little differently. Mine looks like this because I have more privileges on my account because I do have admin access as well. So that's why mine's gonna look a little differently than yours. So when you guys log in, all of these are not gonna, all the numbers are not gonna be as high as they are here. So do not fret if you see any higher numbers on my screen than on yours. Totally fine. The first thing that you're gonna wanna do when you log into your Fello account is you're gonna wanna click this person up here. I have my photo already here. If you do not have your photo, it's gonna be a gray circle with a little person in it. So click on that circle, click on settings. So you're gonna wanna click edit and then search for your photo. Select whatever photo you would like. And of course, none of my photos want to come up today. Once you select your photo, you would just click update. You may have to crop it. If you are trying to upload a photo and it does not work, it's probably because the image is too big or too large. So what you might need to do is you just might need to use your snip tool on your computer and just snip your headshot. If you have trouble with this, you can always email Happy Agent. I can always upload your photo for you as well. You also want to make sure you have your license number in here. You can have more than one license number in here. So if you are an agent who has a license in, say, New Hampshire and Massachusetts, you can have your New Hampshire and your Massachusetts license. You would just put in the second license with a comma Or if you have more than two, you could have all of your licenses, just separate each license number by a comma. Click Save Changes. Anytime you make any changes to any of these fields up here, you always want to make sure you click Save Changes, so that way any changes that you do make are saved. The next thing is, once you update your profile, you want to scroll down and you want to make sure that your photo, the one up here, matches your email signature. Now, if you did just upload your photo and your photo's not showing up in the email, hit the refresh button on the top left. If you have a Mac, I'm not sure where the refresh button is. I don't know if it's in a different location or not, but you will want to hit that refresh button just to refresh the page, and your photo should show on your signature. Now, you can preview your dashboard and preview email. So if you click preview email, this is how your signature will look in an email. And if you click preview dashboard, this is how it's going to look in the dashboard. So those are a couple of first steps that you want to do if you have not already done them. If you have already done them, great. But if you're not sure how to edit your photos, so let's say you got updated photos, you would do the same thing. So you just come to settings, and then you would click edit your photo, and then you would just find the photo file that you wanted to upload, and then you would upload that. So that is the first thing I recommend once you sign into Fello, if it is your first time signing into Fello. Excuse me, I just need some water. Now, does anybody have any questions on that first part that I just went over? Oh, hi everyone up in Maine. So any questions on that first part? If I don't see any questions, I'm gonna go ahead and move on. Okay, the next thing that you're gonna wanna do once you're in Fello, if you have not already done this, is click on this marketing tab up here. So you have home, contacts, marketing, and reports. You wanna click on marketing. And then if you have not already done your custom URL page, you are going to want to create that. So since I've already created my custom URL, you would click on the create custom URL that's going to show here. Once you click on that, it's then going to ask you, is this URL okay? In the middle of that, there is a space. If you do not like that name, so let's say it says Kimberly Granholm, right? If you want to shorten it to K Granholm or Kim Granholm, you can. This is the time where you can edit that. Once you are done customizing that URL, you're going to click create, and then confirm. Once it's confirmed, it will show that you have that create custom URL line that would be right here will go away. Once you come back to the marketing tab, you're going to want to click on landing pages, and you're going to click on personal. Once you click on personal, you will then be able to create any landing page. Now, let's say you have 5 listings. Can each listing have a seller landing page? Of course they can. So to create a landing page, you click on create new. Again, there's different types of landing pages. So you have a seller landing page, a home value landing page, a cash offer landing page, dual tabbed call to action, and triple tabbed call to action landing page. Now, once you create one landing page, it's the same steps to create any other landing page. So we're gonna do a seller landing page. Once you click on it, it's gonna be a pink outside square. You're gonna click continue. You can name this, right? So you can name it home value with Ashley. You can name it 123 Main Street home value, right? So if you wanted to do it for a specific property, you could. So we're just gonna do home valuation. We're gonna save it. Once we click save after we name it, it's gonna bring us to a page where we can edit it, right? So what can we edit? Anything that you wanna edit on the landing page is gonna be over here on the right. So if you wanted to change the background image, you would click on update. There are stock photos that you can use within Fello. Now, let's say you were doing a seller guide, seller landing page for a property, and you had a photo of that house, right? So like a front of the house, you could certainly use that as the photo. So let us click on this one. Once you click on a photo that you want, or anytime you click on a photo, it's always gonna be highlighted in pink on the, it's gonna frame the photo that you've selected. Once you select the photo, you click save. Once we click save, it's gonna change our photo right here. So instead of that kitchen, we now have a living room for our landing page. You can see what it looks like over here on the left. If you don't like it because it's too white, or you think this text is too hard to read, you can just always update the photo again. So we are gonna update it to this page. We're gonna save it. And now, can you rename the heading? You can. So let's say you didn't want to sell your home for more with our real estate team because you do not have a real estate team. You're an individual agent, right? You could do looking to sell your home. Check out your value here, right? Something like that you could do. The subheading, could you change this right here? Yes, you can. So if you had a little snippet of instead of our experienced agents, and you wanted to do our experienced agent has a proven track record of successfully selling homes in your area, let me, right? So if you are just an individual agent, you do want to make sure that you are going through and just changing the grammar to match just being a single agent instead of a team. You can change this right here where it says enter your address. You could do a property address. Property address. The button label, so you could do get started, or you could do property address, button label, we could do value, here, right? Just for instance, form to use would be a seller form, right? So if you were doing a home value form or a cash offer, you could do one of these, right? But we are doing a seller landing page. And then what we're gonna do is we are going to go up here and we are going to click save. Anytime you make any changes, whether it just be the photo, you always wanna make sure you click save. Once the changes are saved, it's gonna say save changes on the bottom. Any questions on how to edit any of this landing page, or how to change any of the writing? Okay, I don't see any questions. Now that we've created this landing page, where do we find it? We go back, so this back arrow over here where it says home valuation, so the name of the page, we go back, we click the back arrow. It's gonna give us a list of all of our landing pages that we've created here. How do we copy it? How do we use it? So there's a couple of different ways. You can click on this link right here. You can copy the landing page. You could click the share button and you can share the landing page. So you could share it to Facebook, LinkedIn, I believe the bird is Twitter, and I believe this is WhatsApp. I'm not sure on those last two icons. There is also a QR code that you can download. You would just click download. What can you use the QR code for? Anything, any marketing, any signs, any mailers, emails, Facebook posts, TikTok videos, Instagram, YouTube, any social media or any media, whether it be a traditional mail or electronic media, you can use that QR code. Now, what can you do if you are creating new signs? Can you put a landing page on signs? You certainly can, right? So you would just download the QR code in your sign design. You would just upload that as part of the sign. Once your signs come in, the QR code will be wherever you place it on that sign. So anybody walking by or anybody going to the house for a showing or an open house could just scan the QR code with their phone and they could use it. You can also use the QR code in flyers, sign-in sheets, again, social media. So there are different avenues that you can use for the QR code. So you can copy the landing page. So if we paste it in a search, it's gonna bring us to the page that we just created. So let's say we have somebody who types in an address. Click here, click a value here, and then it'll generate the value. Click value here. And then it's gonna make sure that this is what you want to proceed with. You can edit it or you can do sell your home. If you have somebody click on sell your home, it's gonna give them an email address as to how we get in touch with you. So you just put in your email, continue, or they would put in your email. Now they want to verify the owner, so they would give their information and then they would click continue. I do not own this post personally, so I am not going to continue with this process. But that is how somebody would fill out their information, and how you would capture their information is that they would go ahead and just continue filling out this information. Once they fill it out, you will receive an email saying that somebody has completed the home valuation. Now, what if I need to edit it? You click on this little pencil, and then you can edit anything that you wanted to edit on that page. We're gonna go back. And then let's say you need to archive the page because it's a listing that has closed. You click on the three dots and you click archive. What's neat about Fello is that once you create a page, you can clone it. So if you want to if you have different listings, you can just clone that page and you can edit the different features of that page. So we are gonna clone home valuation. We're gonna save it. And then it's gonna bring us to the page, right, that we've already created. So again, if you have multiple properties, you can just go in and update them. Or if you have, let's say you have a new condo development and you're listing 5 units, this would be a situation where you would want to clone that page and then just update the addresses. You could do that as well. It would save you a lot of time. So we're going to save it. And then to get back to this one, we just click the back arrow again. And now we can see that we have 2 pages. So what we can do is we can archive this. So if you want to archive a page because that listing is no longer listed, or that page is no longer needed, or you updated a page and you don't want the old link, you don't want people to get confused, you could just archive it. Once you archive a page, it is going to show up in the archived section. So you can still see anything that you've archived. So any questions on how to create any of the landing pages? I know I just did the home valuation one, but you go through the same process to create any of the landing pages. It doesn't matter what category of landing page you create. I don't see any questions, so I'm going to move on to the next category. Contacts. How do you view a contact? How do you read the contact card? What if you have a contact who has multiple properties? How do you add a secondary property? How do you manually add somebody? We're gonna go through all of that right now. Excuse me. So, from the home screen, we are gonna click on the Contacts tab up top. There we go. So to add somebody manually, we click Add. We enter their first name. Oops. Their email. Oh, already belongs to a contact in your database. So I guess I can't do my same email. I will do a different email of mine. The address, you would do that address. You would do this. You would make sure you click yourself as the assigned agent anytime you manually add somebody. Click agree, click save. And then once you add somebody, it's gonna come up with their contact details card. The property will be listed on the right. Their contact information will be listed on the left. The lead score will be here. Since this contact was just added, there's gonna be no lead score yet. Now, Fello has an algorithm that after so many days of being in the system, they send out the first email. After the first email goes out, they send out the second email. Anytime any activity is done within the platform, you will be able to see that activity here. So we can see that this contact was added from Connect, which means they manually added the contact. And we can see that they were enrolled into Automation Home Value Digest email. This was just all as we added them. So the details, marketing. What does this mean? Record status is marketing, that's always gonna be marketing. There is, does work. I can't answer that if it works well with Follow Up Boss, Roberta. I don't personally use Follow Up Boss, so I can't speak to how well it works with Follow Up Boss. I could find out for you, but it's not something that I can answer because I don't use Follow Up Boss personally, so I cannot answer that for you. Tags would be, so let's say you have somebody who was just newly added or newly purchased. You could select newly purchased. You could add that tag. You can add multiple tags at once. So we can go down to new. We could do referral. We could do seller lead. We could go ahead and do, what else? We could do home value. So any tag that you would tag them or label. So think of a tag as being a label. So how would you label this, right? You could also label it pending seller info, CMA request. So if they requested a CMA, you could label them as that. We can add the 5 tags. And then once you add the 5 tags, they're gonna show up in these tags. So once they become a vetted client or not a new client, you can remove the tag. So you just click the X. It's gonna ask, are you sure you wanna delete the tag? Yes, delete it. And now it's gonna get rid of that tag. All the other tags are gonna stay until you remove them. Okay. The system source would be connect, the assigned agent is me. Their preference for communication, email, direct mail, they say subscribed. Now, once you have clients who start engaging, this will go up and their lead score will go up. So I will show you that right now with one of my clients. So that is how you add a client manually. Does anybody have any questions on adding somebody? I will go back into my profile that I just created. And this one. And so if Ashley were to have more than one property, you would click on new property and it would ask for the address. So let's do 22, right? You would click on it, you would say, I agree, you would save it. And now it's gonna add it as the second property. If you mistakenly add a wrong property, you would just click on the 3 dots on the property and just click delete property, and now it's gonna be deleted. It also shows any activity that you did. So anytime you tag any client, what you tag them, anytime you add a property, it's all gonna show right here in activity. So let's say Ashley called Ashley and she did a CMA. You could write a note saying, Ashley requested CMA on 2/18. You could do listing appointment consultation on Saturday 2/22 at 10 a.m. Right? So you could add those types of notes in here. You would click add note and it would save the note. So that could just be a reminder for yourself. So there are ways that you can add notes. Anytime you add a note, it's gonna say note by, and then whatever the note was. So any activity that you do in here or that your client does in here, so anytime they open an email, it's gonna show in here as an activity that they've opened an email and what email they've opened or what email was sent to them. So I will show you an example of, and while I pull up the example, are there any questions? So this is a client of mine, and this is right here, says all of the activity that has happened. So recent sales update email was sent, 2 tags were added, a home value email was sent, Patsy Robinson has viewed the contact dashboard. So you also can see when your clients are engaging within the dashboard. You can see when they click on an email, right? You can see this $sign with this fan circle, right? Icon means they've submitted a home value lead. You can view the details here. So if you click on view details, it's gonna show you the details. Anytime you tag them, it's gonna show up, and it will also show you when a welcome email is sent. So These were added on December 5th. So December 11th, the welcome email was sent out. So it is about a week from the time they are input into the system to the time they are sent the first email. They do get 2 emails per month, so we can see December 11th, they were sent an email, and December 26th, they were sent an email. So, how do we change a name? So if you need to change a client name, you just hover over the name on the right, there's gonna be a pencil. You click on it, and you can name it. So, why do I have these names like this? It's because you cannot have 2 name boxes, so there's only 1 name box. So if you have 2 people, I just do one person as the first name, the second person as the last name. Or if they're the same last name, you could do Patty and Kenny Barrett Robinson. Or if it was Jane Doe and John Smith, you could do Jane Doe, John Smith, right? You could name them however. Save them, it's gonna update their name. This is their email. If you wanna have a secondary email, you can go ahead and click the pencil and you can do add email, and then you can add the secondary email. Okay, and then once you add that secondary email, you're just gonna click save and then it'll add that secondary email. These icons over here are their phone number, their email, and text message. What kind of email was sent for the was sent to her for the second email message? I don't quite understand your question. What kind of email was sent to her? What do you mean by second email message? You mentioned she received another email in January. So, yep, so it says right here. So recent sales update email sent, and then the second email that they received in January was, January 12th, was the home value email sent as part of the automation email. So sometimes if your clients are very active in the system, you're gonna have to go through their activity to see the emails. So a good way to find the emails that were sent is if you look for this little letter icon. This means that the contact has viewed the contact dashboard. This little $sign with a circle and a fan is that they have submitted a home value lead. So there's different icons that can kind of quickly tell you what they have done. So this little square with a person is their symbol for a tag. So there's different icons that you want to get familiar with. So if you are looking for an email, right, you know you're going to want to look for these icons to quickly decipher what emails were sent. Does that answer your question? Zoom user, I'm sorry, I don't have your actual name. So there are always 2 emails that do go out. You're welcome. So there are always 2 emails that go out a month. Now, over on the left, we can see the lead score. So we can see the engagement, we can see the submission, the time frame, the propensity, and the contact information. What do we do when they Lita, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I don't want to jump too far ahead and answer it kind of out of order. I'll answer that in just a little bit. So key factors that play into the lead score are any of these that show up in green or gray. So it could be multiple email opens, one-click emails, one form submit, primary email address validated, address present, phone number present, current owner match, sell and timeline not indicated, low likelihood to list, short-term homeowner. So the more engaged your clients are with the emails and the system, the more these are going to be green. The more key factors that you have that are green, the higher your lead score. You can also see that their engagement, their submission, their time frame, their propensity, and the contact information. So all of this plays into the lead score. I should say all of this plays into this score. The higher the score, the more likely they are to list within 6 months to a year. Now, the scores are 0 to 100. These guys are a lower score because they just purchased the property not too long ago. They purchased it end of November of last year, so they're fairly recent, right? But I still wanted them in my database. So I tagged them, right? I've tagged these clients. They're not a referral though. So I will delete that tag. And then you will see down in the engagement, you'll see that they have 2 views. They've opened 2 emails and they've clicked once. Active in 1 automation. If you click on active in 1 automation or active in X amount of automation, it'll show you what automation they are active in. Home value lead. So Lita, this is going to answer your question right here. So submissions home value lead, if you click on this one submission, it's going to say that they have submitted for a home value. So you would then do a CMA or a home value report on the property. So that is the home value. Does that answer your question? I believe it was Lita. Yeah. You're welcome. And then CRM field, so this will be if you have a CRM linked like Follow Up Boss, as Roberta asked earlier. How well does it work with Follow Up Boss? Again, Roberta, I unfortunately can't answer that. I don't use Follow Up Boss, so I can't speak to how well the 2 systems communicate. I don't use Follow Up Boss, so I don't want to say it works well or it works great. I don't know because I don't use Follow Up Boss, so I can't answer your question. Now, how do you verify the data? So what you're going to want to do is click over here on the property. It's going to bring up a bunch of information about the property details. Over on the left, you're going to have the address. You're going to have the bedrooms, the bathrooms, the square feet, the year built, the acreage, if there is any acreage. This happens to be a condo, so it's not always going to list the acreage. It depends on the type of property. You can also see here how high the current owner match. So we can see that these 2 people own the house, and we can see that the owner match is high. I know, because these were my clients, I do know that this is 100% accurate because they purchased this property with me as the buyer's agent. Now, if it was a lead, a seller lead that came in and you weren't sure, you could always pull the deed, you could always pull the tax card to verify, but Fello will also verify against the public record as well. The previous owner matches low, so you can see the owner details. So it's going to show you, the current owner or owners, and it will also list the previous owner, and it's also going to list the date as to when it's from. It's also going to show you the property details of the date that it was sold, the selling price, the listing agent, the listing office, the buying agent, and the buying office, and the source. So Naren is New Hampshire MLS, so that's where this is from. If you want to view more property history, you would do view property history, and it's going to come up as to all of the property history. So this goes back to when the previous owner from my buyers bought it, to when she bought it, to when my buyers bought it. So it'll give you that history as to when it was sold, when it was active, when it went under contract, when it closed. All of that information is going to be right here. You would just click on view property history and it'll give you a quick overview of the history. Now, in the middle right here, it's going to break down a home estimate, a quick estimate as to how much the home is worth, right? So the top one, right? So the top one right here is gonna be your most realistic, um, your most realistic price, right? Or estimated value of the home. Does this mean that that's what your CMA is gonna come out as? Maybe, maybe not, right? Because we know that these quick estimates don't always take into account everything that a CMA does, but your CMA should be close to that amount. It's also gonna give you a home value trend graph. So if we go to February of 2025, we can see all three, CoreLogic, Atom, and Quantarium. So we can see that the Quantarium is medium, the Atom is high, and the CoreLogic confidence is high. So we can see that these companies are relatively confident with these numbers. Again, they're all gonna vary. So I always say, still do a CMA, right? Because we know quick valuations or quick home valuations are not always accurate. It's gonna give you the current mortgage. It's gonna give you what the loan amount was, the loan date, the interest rate, the estimated equity in the property, the current balance, and the position. It's also gonna give you the location and the site of the property, so the county, the subdivision, if there is a subdivision, the property type, the condition, and if there's any special zoning. So if it's mixed use zoning, or if it's commercial or residential, right? It'll say that. It's also gonna give you a map with recent sales. This little house with the pink pinpoint is gonna be the subject property. It's also gonna list out all of the recently sold down here below as well. And if you zone in on the map, right, scroll in on the map, you can see where the houses are in location to where the subject property is. And if you want more detail on the property, you can just click on it by doing show more or show less, and it'll give you some quick data about that property. So that is the middle part of the overview section. Activity, again, is just gonna be any tags, any emails, any home value lead, any home value leads that were submitted, right? Any tags that were added, any emails that were opened, any emails that were sent are all gonna be in here. Offers, if there were to be any offers, right? So no offers created, you could create an offer. So you would select a buyer, offer price, you could create an offer, but that's what we have dotloop for. So I would just do the traditional offer and dotloop, and then any notes that you have will show here. You can add any notes here as well. And then again, over here, it's just gonna give you a little snapshot of the contact, their info, their name, their tags, the lead score, the marketing, their automations that they're engaged in, the last engagement. So we can see that the last engagement with these clients was January 12th. And we can see that the last engagement was a dashboard view. And then we can also see that they've done a home value lead submission. So we can see all of that right there. Over on the overview as well, I do want to mention that you could click on learn more, and it'll give you a little bit of information on how Fello displays the home value estimates, what they use for the AVM providers, and what is a primary AVM provider and how is one selected. So there is some more information on that right there if you click learn more. So if your clients have any questions on this data, you can do learn more, and then you can get some information right here for your clients if they do ask. Does anybody have any questions on any of this information? I wanna make sure I'm not missing any questions. Okay, I don't see any questions. So that is just a little overview on the property details. Now, let's say these people had more than one property. How would you add that? Again, you would click on their name, you would click over here to new property, and you would add the property and you would save it. And then that second property that was here, you would be listed and it would give you the same information as their primary property. So if you have an investor who has multiple investment units, right? So let's say we have John Smith. John Smith owns a condo in Chelmsford, he owns a condo in Drake, and he owns a condo in Nashua. You could have all three of those properties listed. Now, what happens if you have a property and that property is already claimed in the system? So if you are entering a property and it's already claimed in the system, it will not allow you to add that property to that seller or that owner. So let's say Jane Doe owned 123 Main Street. Her current listing agent is in Fello, and let's say 123 Main Street in Chelmsford is assigned to John Smith for Jane Doe. 123 Main Street sells, you try to add 123 Main Street in Chelmsford, but it's not letting you add that property. It's because that property is already claimed. So a property can only be claimed once. I think it was, I believe it was with Lita that we had an issue with that, but we were able to resolve that because it was sold. So if you do run into that issue, that's probably why. You can always email Happy Agent with that property. I can send it to our fellow reps to look into it to see why it's still claimed even though it was sold, et cetera, et cetera. So if you have any problem adding a property like that, just email Happy Agent and we can work with our fellow reps on getting that property assigned to you, if need be. Let's see. So we went over landing pages, we went over marketing, we went over settings. I do want to mention this little tab over here. You guys don't need to worry about it. It's for the back end to know how many credits we have. So you guys don't need to worry about that. Now, I have had some people ask me, is that the number of contacts that they have? No. How do you get to your contacts? So your contacts, you're always going to want to click on the contact tab. You're not going to want to click on this because it's not going to bring you to your contacts. So you're just going to want to always click on the contacts tab to get to your contacts. You can search by name if you wanted to, or you could search by property address. So there are two different ways that you can search for contacts that are in your database. And what I do want to do, as well as I want to go back to marketing for a second. And I will also go to the landing pages and I will also mention that anytime you have any views, entrances, or leads, it's going to show right here. So let's say we viewed this page, right? Let's copy URL. Okay, so we're viewing the page. Now that I've refreshed it, it's gonna show one view. And we know that we viewed it, but anytime anybody enters any information, it's your percentage is gonna go up and your lead conversion is gonna go up as well. It's also gonna give you a breakdown and a graph as to engagement with each page. You will have all of this for each page that you create, each page that you get share, each page that you market, right? So if you don't market your pages and you just have them sit in here, you're not gonna get views. So to get more views, you're gonna wanna use these URLs, right? In your marketing, in your TikTok video, in your YouTube video, in your Instagram post, in your Facebook post, in your mailers, even open house flyers, you could put this URL, right? So let's say you have an open house for a listing that you're doing. You could certainly create a page. You could put that QR code on a page, right? For that landing page for that property, you could put that QR code on any of your open house resources. So then anyone that scans that QR code would come in. So that is an overview of Fello, how to get started with Fello, how to set up your photo, your license number, how to add an additional license number, how to add an additional property for those sellers of yours that have more than one property, how to read the property, how to read the lead score. Any questions on anything that I went over? I try to leave the last 10 minutes of class for any questions or any concerns that anyone has or anything like that. Oops. Okay, I don't see any additional questions, so I want to thank all of you for joining. And if you guys dig into Fellow any further and you have any other questions or you're not sure on something, just email happyagent@lairrealty.com. If you want to go more in depth on your Fellow, you could schedule a 30-minute briefing with me. That URL is lairrealty.com/briefings. It would be a 30-minute one-on-one call with just you and I. So if you're somebody who has questions, but you don't want to ask them in front of a whole bunch of people, you could always schedule one-on-one with me. I do ask that if you do fill out the one-on-one briefing form, that you do give some 3 dates and times that work for you. If mornings work best for you on like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, put that in the form because that'll help me know when to look on my calendar and see what fits. And then it'll be a Zoom call just like this for 30 minutes. You're welcome, Deb. So if nobody has any other questions, I'm gonna go ahead. What's for lairrealty.com/briefings? I'm gonna put it in the chat for you, Lita. Briefings. So that's for anybody that needs to schedule a call, whether it be for Fellow, Real Scout, Canva, Boston Logic. There's one. So if you have an upcoming transaction, there's one for that. There's a social media one. There's different categories for the briefings. So if any of you need a tech bundle briefing, that will be me. I will be assisting you. Other than that, I hope everyone stays safe and stays warm if you are in New England. It is pretty cold up here today. So thank you, everyone.